Okay, so we're gonna look at the all-time Indianapolis Colts, and we're actually, like always, we are doing the offense, then the defense, and the special teams. This is a nice series of videos in terms of how you really want to look at as, honestly, it's just one of those videos. It's pretty great just to have that, you know, this whole landscape of every single team you love and support. It's different cultures, and it's different great players and players that people might not know on the NFL spectrum. But if you're a fan of this team, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can attest to if you agree or not. Anyway, we start with this another team. This is the third team we got. We've done the Jets, we've done the Jaguars, and now we're doing the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts play in Lucas Oil Stadium out in Indianapolis, Indiana. They're actually headquartered in Indianapolis anyway, in Indiana. You're looking at, they got established in 1953, January 23rd, 64 years ago. And they've been based in Indianapolis since 1984. Of course, as you know, they went from Baltimore, and then they went to Indianapolis. They relocated. So for many fans, they're pretty bitter. I would say the bitter Colt fan is they're bitter. They had their Baltimore Colts team, and unfortunately, they took it away. And finally, they found a new team for that Baltimore area, which is the Baltimore Ravens, which we will get to eventually as their all-time list. The Colts first season officially 1953. They won the National Football League 1953 through present, of course. Before they were actually in the Western Conference from 53 to 69, and in the Coastal Division from 67 to 69. They moved to the AFC in 1970. They were part of the National Football League, but there was the AFL and the NFL. Now they became the AFC. 1970, and it's continued on in the AFC. They went from the AFC East in 1970 all the way to 2001. And after that, they relocated to the AFC South from 2002 to present. Overall, this team's color, royal blue and white. And their owner, as of right now, is Jim Irsay. Head coach, Chuck Pagano. General manager, Chris Ballard. I'm pretty sure I have not had this much information about a team, so I feel bad. I'm very, very sorry if I didn't do that to your Jets and your Jaguars. But I'll start to do it. Overall, Baltimore Colts, they've been the Baltimore Colts 53 to 83, and now 84 to now. They are in Indianapolis. This team has won 4 league titles. In terms of 4 league championships, that was their Super Bowl in a way. Before the AFL-NFL merger, they won 3 NFL championships, which, like I said, league championships, NFL championships, like a Super Bowl. Super Bowl was the NFL championship in a way. League championship, you would pretty much be a conference championship in a way. Now, NFL championship they won in 58, 59, and 68. Now, 68, NFL championship is pretty much the NFC championship. Okay? So that was my fault on that. League championship would be the entire league championship, pretty much the Super Bowl. NFL championship, pretty much NFC championships. And they won it in 58, 59, 68. They got to Super Bowl 3. We all know how that turned out. They got, for the most part, shut down. And they didn't get to the Super Bowl until Super Bowl 5. Only waited pretty much two Super Bowls. Got to the Super Bowl 5, won it. And they wouldn't have won it until, again, 2006. Peyton Manning led them to Super Bowl 41. Pretty handily, too, to the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears were definitely not the 85 Bears. They just weren't good enough to beat this Indianapolis team. It was their time. It was Peyton's time. That was one of his 2 rings. Overall, 2 Super Bowls for this Indianapolis Colts organization. They've also won 7 conference championships. Like I said, the NFL Western, 58, 59, 64, and 68. And the AFC, they have won the AFC 3 times, actually. Looking at 1970, 2006, and 2009. So, overall, they have gone to the Super Bowl pretty much 4 times. 68, lost the Super Bowl 3, 1970, won the Super Bowl in 06, and 09, lost in Super Bowl 44 against the New Orleans Saints. They have won 16 division championships, once in the NFL Coastal, which was 68. In the AFC East, they have won from 1970, 75, 76, 77, 87, and 99. In the AFC South, they have won it in 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 2009, 2010, 2013, and 2014. Overall, it's 27 playoff appearances. Listed pretty much 58, 59, 64, 65, 68, 70, 71, 75, 76, 77, 87, 95, 96, 99, 2000, 2002, all the way to 2010, then 2012, 2013, and 2014. They have played in Memorial Stadium from 53 to 83, moved to the RCA Dome in 84 to 2007, and have resided since 2008 in Lucas Oil Stadium. Very, very historic franchise. Definitely a franchise that people should know, and a franchise that is definitely starving for a third championship. As of right now, it doesn't look like they will be going anywhere for a while. Andrew Luck's prime, unfortunately, is going to waste, but he has been an outstanding quarterback. So overall, they have drafted pretty well, just not well enough. So Colts will have to wait on that third championship. Maybe it'll come in the future. You never know. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they need a leader. And this is pretty obvious who their quarterback will be. No, it's not going to be Johnny Unitas. I would definitely put him as my backup. Johnny Unitas would definitely be a backup choice. That'd be a fantastic duo. But Peyton Manning is the guy. Peyton Manning will be the guy. He is fantastic. Regular season, yes, he is the best regular season quarterback of all time. Playoff-wise, no, unfortunately, he hasn't had that playoff success as many people have hoped. But he can win a Super Bowl. He can. He's proven that he has won. He's won 2. One of them being, because of the defense. He was definitely old enough. But he's gotten teams to the Super Bowl 4 times. So it shows that, yes, he can get to the big game. Sometimes he'll underperform, of course. But you shouldn't question his entire IQ, everything powerful about him. Honestly, in my opinion, Peyton Manning is very, very deserving of being a part of this organization. He is the best quarterback of all time for this organization. Arguably top 5. I would say top 3, actually. Top 3 quarterback of all time behind Montana and Brady. I think he's earned the respect he's gotten, and, he pretty much played his entire career, 13 years in Indianapolis, 2011 you can count, but, the fact that he missed this season with a neck injury is unfortunate. But you're looking at, playing his last years in Denver, doing fantastic things there, but he's definitely not their Denver's best QB of all time, definitely the savior of Indy and their success and them being a football town. It's got to be a big part to being Peyton. I mean, the Sheriff has done it for many, many years. There's endless amounts of awards, I can tell you, like tons of Pro Bowls, tons of All-Pros, MVP, races, and, becoming the MVP, being that QB that leads him to Super Bowl in 06. Numerous records he's broken. Honestly, the list goes on and on. I would literally be here stuck all day if I can tell you every single record that Peyton has done. It's in the record books in Indianapolis. He is a Colt legend. He will be continued, and he will have a statue. I guarantee he will have a statue in the front of a stadium of him. So Peyton Manning, well respected, and in my belief, yes, he is the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. He is the face of that. This is the guy. So first of all, this guy is another legend. This guy is a guy that actually gets super overlooked, but in my opinion, he has a very big chance, and I would love to see Edgerrin James in the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think what he's done over his career, over 10,000 yards, it should really tell you what he's been doing his entire career, which is run the football with ease. I definitely could see why they would have a rough time having him in there, because he's had some down years. But in my honest opinion, this is a man that can run the football. Edgerrin James is one of those guys that's, a legend. and should be considered one of that. And you know what? He is a Colt legend. He is not a Cardinal legend. Fantastic as a Cardinal, but he is definitely not that guy. All of his success was built around being around this Colts offense, and specifically having the ability to play with Peyton. Honestly, that chemistry is pretty great to see. You know, Peyton giving it to Edge, you know, and for him to just, you know, do his thing, run for yards. You know, first round, fourth overall pick in the '99 draft. Definitely, the Colts were looking for future success, and Edge, he brought that. He really did. And you know, honestly, it's a guy that gets overlooked. That's just, you know, plain and simple. I actually did not put a fullback on this team. They don't really have a fullback player, to be quite honest with you. So, in my honest opinion, it's going to be a lot of passing. But, Edgerrin James is going to bring the best out of this team because he's the X factor, in my opinion. We all know Peyton, and we're going to get to see his weapons. Pretty great weapons. But Edgerrin James is that X factor of, he can break out, though. He can get those 100-plus rushing yards in a game, honestly, if you give him the ball. You know, give him that hole. In my honest opinion, this is a great thing for Peyton. You know, it gives him another versatility, like another distraction if he's under pressure, you know, if he's not having a great game. Or he can just mix it up, and people won't know if they're running it or passing it, and they're both dangerous at it. So, in my opinion, this is a great move for the Colts, and right now, pretty good start. Peyton, Edgerrin James in the backfield. Ooh. All right, the wideout, Marvin Harrison, big thing. Having him on here is literally, it's such an easy pick. There's definitely some easy picks out here that you can tell. Like, there's no brainers. This is a no-brainer. You need to have Marvin Harrison as your wide receiver. First of all, Peyton, Marvin together already, you know, it's a connection. That's a deep connection. I mean, these were two that finished each other's sentences, you know? Like, they were that tight, and they were just so good together. They broke so many records. They did so many great things. They changed the culture of Indianapolis football. And so he's got to be on there. And B, because he's one of the greatest receivers of all time. A guy that's, you know, the receiver position, most of the time, I mean, as of now, it's a lot of drama queens. Like, not in a bad way. Like, they have bright personalities, like vibrant. Like, they are very social. They express themselves a lot, to the point where it could be diva-ish. So I'm definitely not downgrading on them on the position. They do whatever they want. You know, people can act the way they want. I'm just, the whole personality change, definitely that's what it is nowadays. It's, they're known to be diva-ish. And Marvin Harrison is the complete opposite. I'm sure he talked, but very quiet dude. Like, honestly, letting you know, very quiet man that was just so good. He just showed it on the field. You know, he put in the work ethic guy. And I think with him in there, yeah, it's a fantastic offense already built around right now with Peyton and Edgerrin James, and now having Marvin Harrison as one of you guys to throw to. Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, right to Marvin Harrison is going to be the guy that, honestly, you know, Marvin was able to play with for a bit, and a guy that really became pretty much Peyton's go-to when Marvin was done. He was the man, and he proved it, and he showed it out there, and he was a hard worker as well, and he is a future Hall of Famer. Just letting you know, yes, Reggie Wayne is definitely a Hall of Famer. Just looking at, you know, his body of work, you know, having Harrison, and you have Wayne. You know, Reggie Wayne, great, just Hall of Fame career, a guy that, you know, has had 100-plus receptions in a year, a guy that was able to just, you know, he was a great runner, he was great with his routes, you know, had a lot of receiving touchdowns. Just business, you know. I think Peyton needs those kind of receivers that are, you know, they got the high IQ, and I think Reggie Wayne is one of those guys, high IQ football player that plays with his heart out and, you know, really gives it his all for the craft that he loves, and that's being a receiver and playing football. And I think Reggie Wayne, you know, embodies a big blanket when Marvin Harrison needs someone else. If he's double covered, you're going to give it to Reggie Wayne. All right. I didn't put a fullback because I wanted a different formation. I wanted two receivers and a slot guy. Now, they can always, divvy it up. Marvin could be the slot guy, or Wayne could be the slot guy, or, pretty much. Or you can put Raymond Berry as a slot guy. Most likely, no. Most likely he'll be one of the corner guys, but he could be a slot guy. I think his route running is great. And overall, this is a guy that many people know. Raymond Berry is a Hall of Famer, and many people do not know much about Raymond Berry, but during his time, against pretty much, in the 50s, 60s kind of time, Johnny Unitas being that man, and everything going along and going smoothly, I believe Raymond Berry, is much needed. I think Peyton can definitely throw it to Marvin. He can definitely throw it to Reggie. I think he can do fantastic things with Raymond Berry. I think Raymond Berry, like I said, is route running, a guy that has caught 70-plus catches, has been the man, has caught around like 14 receiving touchdowns that 1 year. Like, he was pretty dominant. I understand different generation, but I really believe all time, yeah, he's got to be ranked as one of the best receivers in Colts history. I think Colts have had a pretty good time with QBs and having receivers. So I think that's one of their major upside, in my opinion. So Indianapolis going to have that 3 receiver. Oof, that's deadly. All right, so you got your receivers, but how about having a tight end there? And you're going to have one of the best tight ends in NFL history in John Mackey. This guy in itself, Hall of Famer again, multiple Pro Bowler, multiple All-Pro. He's been a Super Bowl champion, big guy, can definitely block pretty well, and honestly, a guy that that can just be super productive. And I think he's going to be that. First of all, he's a great tight end. Tight ends back in the day were not supposed to be receiver-like guys, but he was one of the few that kind of transitioned tight ends as being a guy that can actually play the receiver role. And I think John Mackey, his size, him being able to just be a complete football player, in my opinion, very underrated tight end. I think having, the ability to run it with Edgerrin, but at the same time having the ability that, okay, I'm going to pass it to Marvin. Wait, no, I'm going to pass it to Reggie. Well, I can try to go down the slot with Barry, or I can go and know that he can take a shot and have John Mackey. And I think for defenses, it's probably going to be the hardest thing to do, is trying to make sure that you don't let Marvin open, you don't let Reggie open, you definitely don't want to give John Mackey a lot of yards, but you got to figure out where's Raymond Berry. Like, that's, in my opinion, that gives defenses headaches and nightmares. And I think in itself, this is a fantastic offense. Like, when I look at this is one of my favorite offenses. And this is scary, dude. This is a scary team already. Now, you can have so many weapons, but you're going to need a good line. And I think this is a very good start to bring out the Indianapolis left tackle, Tariq Glenn. He's going to be the left tackle, a guy that has pretty much played left tackle his entire career over there. Only with the Indianapolis Colts, he never went anywhere. Short-lived career, I would say, from 21 years old to 30, But in my opinion, what he's done is he hasn't missed many games, 6 games in his entire career. A guy that's definitely going to cover and block guys and try to make sure that he covers that blind side to make sure that Peyton does not get demolished. I really believe Tariq Glenn is a pretty good tackle. I think having him in the fold, it's a pretty good start to this line. Now, tackle, you're going to have a left guard. And this left guard was actually pretty monstrous. A guy that was definitely fierce and a guy that played guard. And you're going to have my left guard right there with Glenn. I think that toughness thing is that's a pretty big thing, especially in the line. I think having Glenn there and having Dan Sullivan, that's pretty good. I really like this line. I think what Dan Sullivan can do, definitely has been able to do. He's a Super Bowl champ. He was part of that line for Baltimore that got it done, that won the Super Bowl. But, not many numbers on him based on his entire career, but this is a guy that played 10 years, was a Super Bowl champ. Definitely didn't get any recognition in terms of Pro Bowl, All-Pro, but I think he should be doing pretty well. I think Dan Sullivan could definitely help this team. But, then again, we'll have to see. Tariq Glenn might have to pull a little of the load himself on this side. Now, centers, very valuable. You need a guy that's a leader, that's, kind of that leader of the line, a guy that's going to just look out, see what's going on this D line, make sure that everything's, you know, shaping up pretty good. You know, he's kind of that. He's pretty much the last guy to make the call in terms of the second to last guy to pretty much hike that football. The other guy is the QB, you know, but honestly, he is a very big point. I think, you know, the QB center position, that's definitely have to be a connection, and connection of Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning goes a long way. I mean, this is a teammates that really have been going at it, center and QB, since 2000. So, had a super good connection. I think, honestly, Jeff Saturday, it's been fantastic, and he really has 2 All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler. He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. He won a Pro Bowl that year as well. So overall, this is the guy that he will show up on Sunday, and he will dominate, you know, and he'll be that vocal leader that you need on the line on this offense to be successful. I think Jeff Saturday, he's up for the ballot for the Hall of Fame this year. I believe he will be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. He changed a lot. I think, honestly, Saturday, Peyton's connection is just as important as Peyton and Marvin's connection. So having that down, I really like this line right now. It's pretty good, pretty solid. Right guard, Glenn Ressler. Yeah, Glenn Ressler is fantastic. Super Bowl champion, definitely gets overlooked. But you see how versatile, this guy was versatile. He was a guard, he was a center, he was a tackle, and a defensive tackle. And pretty big guard, 6'3", you know. And, you know, definitely, I would say, injuries, as well as, you know, getting repositioned everywhere, definitely affected him. But in all honesty, I think this man deserves some recognition. He's definitely the second best guard that this team has had in their entire franchise history. And I looked through it, and it was definitely their best guy. So, in my opinion, do they have the strongest guards? No, I wouldn't say have the strongest guards in the league all time. I definitely think they would be pretty productive. I just think that most of the time, I believe that this Colts offensive line will be pretty much their biggest leaders will be those tackles and the center. The guards will be fantastic. I think if they do their job, they'll produce. I just fear when they get to the all-time defenses, they might slip up a couple times, and Peyton might get sacked a little bit, and Edgerrin James he might just be, you know, pushed to the backfield. But overall, I think this line is pretty productive. I could definitely see them winning games. You know, it's all up to you guys what you think. I definitely would have to think about it a little bit more if I thought this team could win a Super Bowl. But we haven't gotten to their defense, special teams yet, so you never know. Now, remember I said they needed some leadership from the tackles? I didn't tell you who the right tackle was, but the reason I said that is because the right tackle is going to be Ryan Deem, and he is a very big part of really being able to succeed against different D-line guys, and has been able to protect Peyton for the most part on a pretty efficient level. And I think his leadership with Tarek Glenn on the other side, I think those two be fantastic linemen on those tackles. You'll see that, yeah, that's pretty good because at least those sides, Peyton can see what's going to happen. You know, they can definitely protect his blind side for damn sure. I think those two have very bright potential of doing that. I think they're going to be excelling in that. Their guards, definitely, like I said, they just got to do their job. They'll produce. They're not the best guards of all time, but they are guards. They are productive, and their center, Jeff Saturday, is a future Hall of Famer. So the line is pretty great, and ending on this Ryan Deem, I think will do wonders for them. And honestly, I really like this offense. This offense is definitely scary looking, and I think their line is pretty good.